Episode 7 of 7 Deadly Sins Season 2. It had a lot. It had a lot of information dumping in it. Like, a lot of information dumping. So, basically, the whole episode, it was Diane's backstory. And, somebody, one of my friends messaged me and said that Diane is not called Diane. I think it's a Diane or something, and Gouter is called Gouter, but I think so that is only for the English dub, and the Japanese dub clearly calls Diane, and Gouter, cause Japanese dub. But yeah, those are only for the English dub, and I'm going with the Japanese dub. I'm watching the Japanese dub, so yeah, in the Japanese dub, it is called Diane and Gouter is called Gouter. So there you go. That's the reason why I called Diane and Gouter. Now straight away getting into it, the start of the episode was quite a simple start. Diane loses her memory, and she's like, oh, her memory goes way before she joins Sun Deadly Sins, like when she meets Meliodas for the first time. So that's when her memory goes back to. Then slowly her memory starts to fade away, and then we come to know that she's missing cause reasons. And yeah, she's missing, and Gauthor comes out of nowhere, and he's like, oh, I erased her memory. And I was like, damn. that is that is just straight up savage. I mean, come on. And then King punches him, and those song stuff. Though basically this whole episode after that was Tian's backstory. Once everything went, the first 5 minutes went through, everything was Tian's backstory. We came to know about Tian's clan, how she got her sin, that is envy, and her first meeting with Meliodas, which you saw in season 1, where she meets Meliodas, and she's like, oh, we feel like together, like we are the same level of height and stuff, those stuff. And then we move on to, like, we come to know that uh, um the giant clan leader, she undertook Diane to, like, be like, the giant clan. It's a race of warriors. That's what basically is implied in this, and they live for fighting. That's basically what is implied in this episode. And then Diane and one of her friends called Dolor, I think so. I don't remember. She's an irrelevant character, so, like, it's not a big impact or anything. But yeah, Diane and one of her friends, they don't like fighting, and Diane likes fighting only for people who she really cares. So basically, Dolor dies because she doesn't like fighting. It's not shown, but that's basically it. While the leader, Matrona, she's pretty heartless. I'll just say that she's pretty heartless. She's like, I don't care about her. Like, she died because she's with the giant race, and that's what happens in the battlefield. And she died, and we just see a little like a little scene between her, Matrona and Diane, and they just, like, fight together. So after that, we move on to see what happens, and in the next scene, Matrona and Diane were hired by the soldiers of Leonis. That's right, soldiers of Leonis, to be killed. Basically, they wanted to kill those two, like Matrona, not Diane. Matrona brought Diane along just because, basically like a backup or something like that. But like Diane, like, she was like the soldiers of Leonis. She got killed, like Matrona and Diane they wanted to kill them, and they began to fire stuff. And oh yeah, I think I mentioned that the giant race, they control Earth. Basically, their magic is Earth magic. That means they can control Earth. And you see Matrona in this episode throwing this rocks and stuff like DN does now. Basically, that's what they're controlling, is they can control Earth. Now, now all of that moving on, they see that the soldiers are firing at them, Diane and Matrona, and Diane pretty much, Matrona takes a arrow to the leg from Diane, which was shot for Diane, and it was a poisonous arrow basically. And they were using poisonous arrow to which could kill even a dragon. So like, you could understand what it would do to a giant. Like that'll be an instant kill, like insta kill. And then that's that. And then you see that Diane here, after the end credits scene, so that ended up like, that's what it ended up. Diane cries and all for Matrona, and then that's where it ends off, credits. And then cut off to the next scene. You see Diane has been given the punishment, and she was named the sin of envy, because the soldiers basically, I think so, the soldiers would have just lied. That's basically what's implied here. The soldiers lied to the courtroom, and basically she wanted to overthrow Matrona, something like that. And basically she was jealous, and means jealous, so they implied that she was jealous with Matrona's power, and that's the reason why she killed her and 330 of Leona's soldiers. Well, the backstory is completely different. Same, it's just the same thing with each and every sin. You see, Ban is given the sin of which sin is Ban again? Greed. That's right, greed. So he was given the greed sin of greed because he stole the, what's it called, the fountain of youth, and then King was given the sin of sloth because he couldn't protect the fairy forest. So we already know 3 backstories, so all of those align completely different from what they actually were in real life. And that's basically, I think so, the whole thing will be that. And basically each and every backstory will be something like that, in my opinion. It's something like that. And same, we saw same with Diane right now. So my guesses are, I still want to see Pride. I still want to see Escanor, because the hype for him is real. It's really real. Like, but what actually really I didn't like was that this whole episode actually was just one chapter. Just one chapter. Yeah, I'm not joking. There was, no, 2 chapters, 125, 126. Chapter number 125 and 126. And I was like, the previous episode was 3 chapter long, so why was this chapter only like 2 chapters long? Like, why? 125, 126 only. Like, I'm just looking at this chapter and be like, they could have done so much more with this chapter, and they could have just added 1 more chapter in. But I guess that'll be it. That'll be for the next chapter. I guess the next episode will add in 3 chapters like they always do. So next episode preview, we see that Elizabeth, she's arriving at a completely different place. Like, we only see her arriving at a completely different place, and it's named the Land of Holy Druids. Now, if anybody doesn't know, it was in the previous episode that it was said that Holy Druids are the race of the Holy Druids are the races that are equivalent of the goddess race, the goddess race who defeated the 10 commandments. That's basically it. So I don't know. I don't know anything that's gonna happen in the next episode, but it was good to see this episode. Like, it gave a lot of Diane's backstory and stuff. Not to mention, we also saw King, like, King's badass mode. Like, he just smacked Kotor and that stuff. And yeah, nothing much. Just Diane's backstory. This was all Diane backstory. That was everything in this episode. Nothing else. So yeah, so, so what do you think? Where do you scale this episode from 1 to 10? I think so. I'll just give it a 5.5. Not because it had bad actions or it had something uh, equal or like it was a good story building and stuff, but I just thought that the story was a little dragged out and it was kind of boring in this episode. It was not that fun or exciting like the previous 6 episodes, which I really liked. But this episode was just like, yeah, let's give this whole episode a backstory, but just drag it on for some time. So like, I really didn't like the drag out it did in this episode. Like, I just felt it was too dragged out. That's why I give it a 5.5 because that's how it felt, like a little dragged on episode. So yeah, what do you think? Where do you scale this episode and what do you think about it? Uh, don't forget to like if you like the content and don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you in the next episode. As always, peace.